Life takes odd turns, but even tattered and worn yarn still has value. Tired joints and health flares don't have to stop the journey. Welcome to Hawksong Weaving, where all our paths are a little bit warped. Hello all! In this video, I'll be giving some tips and tricks to help when weaving with different wool blend yarns. I get all of my yarn from thrift stores or charity shops, so I rarely get a windfall of an entire batch of the same yarn. I did get a windfall of this tan wool blend, but I also have some oddballs of purple and this variegated pink and green. These are all the same gauge or thickness of yarn, but they have different spin twists, which will affect how I weave this scarf. Spin twist affects the weaving by having different stretch intensity, for lack of a better term, along the warp threads. As I warp this project, I'm noticing that the pink and green yarn has the most twist, while the tan yarn is a bit fluffier, a bit less of an intense twist, and the purple is in the middle. That, combined with the fact that I need to do some loom maintenance, means that I'll be weaving this fairly loosely, allowing the blocking at the end to do most of the detail work for me. I use small towels to help mitigate sausage rolling, or the warp being tight on the ends and loose in the middle. I need to tighten up my warp beams, so this isn't as effective for this project, but that's on me. When the warp beams are even slightly loose, they can slip, and that makes keeping the tension of the warp harder than it needs to be. The warping method I use causes less pain for my joints. I roll the entire warp on the back warping board, and then individually cut each end, pulling the right hand warp thread through the hole in the rigid heddle, and then repeat until I'm done. This is what's easiest for my joints, but take what works for you and leave the rest. This is my girlfriend's cat Belith. She's an Abyssinian mix, and I joke that she's a reincarnated German Shepherd in a kitten body, because she's a very fierce guard cat. Something happened in her past life with sheep or yarn, because she definitely doesn't trust me when I'm working with the woollier blends. Because there's about the same amount of purple and green and pink yarn left, I'll do a single border on one end of this scarf. This keeps those tiny balls of yarn from clogging up my stash and also adds even more dimension. For this scarf especially, because I know the warp beams aren't as tight as they could be, and because of the different twists in the yarn, I'm doing a looser, plain weave. Experience has taught me that the wool in these wool blend yarns will block really well, so I'm allowing that to do most of the work for me. I'd like to thank you for sticking around. If you'd like to support the channel, please consider a like, but there's no pressure. If you'd like to see more of this content, subscribing is the way to do that. I try to make 3 videos a month. Regardless, thank you for being here. As I finish this scarf, I can tell that the twist difference in the green and pink yarn did make a big difference in the tension of the warp thread, and if I wasn't going to block that, this would be a problem. Thankfully, these are wool blends, so the steam should really help get everything back in line. Knowing how the yarn is going to react during the blocking process is part of why I kept the weave fairly loose. This lets the yarn strands shift into place and cling to its neighboring yarn strands, creating an even weave. Everyone say hello to Hades Himbo! The angle doesn't really do him justice. He's absolutely massive. Let the record show I didn't go looking for a Maine Coon mix. I got given the runt and then found out after he didn't stop growing that his father was the Maine Coon tomcat running around town all summer. My loom is one of the only boxes that he fits in the apartment, so he loves providing counterbalance for tying off the final fringe. And here he is involuntarily becoming a model for just how loose this weave is and exactly why I'm going to be blocking. This video is coming to a close. The scarf will be shown at the end. Thank you for stopping by. Enjoy some more Hades cuteness in the meantime. I'm so glad for the odd turn you took to get here. Remember, even tattered and worn yarn has value. Tired joints and health flares don't have to stop the journey. Thank you for spending time with Hawksong Weaving, where all our paths are a little bit warped.